They followed me at a red light. My little brother died on the scene.
You got shot 8 times in this, and somehow you're the only one who survived.
Yungeen Ace has had painful experiences at the hands of Foolio's affiliates. From losing his younger brother to his two best friends getting killed, Ace and Foolio's affiliates are clearly not the best of friends. And now, after claiming responsibility for Foolio's murder, Ace has reason to constantly look over his shoulder. Foolio's affiliates want vengeance, and they'll stop at nothing to get it. So how did Yungeen Ace and Foolio's affiliates get to this murderous point? Let's find out. Why Yungeen Ace is terrified. Yungeen Ace has been wreaking havoc in Jacksonville. His gang, ATK, has been behind numerous murders in the city. But now, word on the street is that he is scared for his life. And with his latest attack on the rival gang, KTA, he may just have dug his own grave. His ops are hot on his heels after the murder of KTA's leader, Foolio, who was killed on a special day. June 21st, 2024, marked a special day for Charles Jones, better known as Julio Foolio. The Florida rapper was celebrating his 26th birthday, and he wanted to make it a memorable occasion. Foolio shared his gratitude on social media, posting, "God, thank you for allowing me to see another year and to celebrate another birthday." Foolio took to Instagram, inviting friends and fans to join him for a pool party at an Airbnb in Tampa. The event was heavily promoted on social media, promising a night of fun and celebration.
Pool party start the day at 5, 6 o'clock. If you already got the address, pull up, man. You got the address, pull up. If you need the address, DM me right now. The pool party start at 5, 6 o'clock.
The party kicked off with a bang. The atmosphere was electric, with music blaring, people dancing, and everyone in high spirits. Friends, fans, and fellow artists, all there surrounded Foolio to celebrate his special day. The rapper shared moments from the party on his Instagram story, showing off the lively crowd and the festive mood.
Drinking, cuz. I don't even drink, cuz. Appreciate everybody popping out for my birthday, you know what I'm saying?
Happy birthday! Happy birthday!
Everybody got their shot, put their shot in the air, man. Okay, David. Everybody take this shit on 3, man. 1, 2, 3.
However, as the night progressed, the party began to get out of hand. The crowd grew larger, and the noise levels escalated. According to Foolio's attorney, Louis Fusco, the event became too rowdy, drawing the attention of the local police. Law enforcement arrived at the scene, and due to the excessive occupancy and noise complaints, they decided to shut down the party. Mr. Jones had been in Tampa to celebrate his birthday over the weekend, Foolio's lawyer told the press. Law enforcement reports indicate that he initially stayed at an Airbnb, but was asked to leave due to exceeding occupancy limits. Foolio took to Instagram once again, expressing his frustration. He posted that the police had shut down the party and kicked him out of the Airbnb. "Police shut us down and kicked us out Airbnb. That's crazy work," he posted. With the celebration cut short, Foolio and his entourage were forced to find alternative accommodations for the night. The group relocated to a Holiday Inn hotel in Tampa.
We came deep for my birthday, man. Everybody coming up to stairs. No cap, man. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? We deep as hell. We deep as hell, 20 deep.
In the early hours of June 23rd, just 2 days after his birthday, Foolio and 3 others were in their cars in the hotel parking lot. Unbeknownst to them, danger was lurking nearby. Unidentified assailants approached and opened fire, ambushing the group in a brutal attack. The ambush was swift and deadly. The aftermath was chaotic and heart-wrenching. Tampa police arrived at the scene to find Foolio fatally wounded. 3 other individuals were injured and quickly transported to the hospital, where they were listed in stable condition. The hotel parking lot was transformed into a crime scene, with investigators combing through evidence and reviewing surveillance footage. Foolio's girl took to X to mourn her loss, posting, "Y'all took my boyfriend from me. I hate y'all, and I won't be the only one crying." Law enforcement officials have immediately launched an investigation into the ambush. Surveillance footage from the Holiday Inn is being reviewed, but as of now, no suspects have been arrested. Despite the cops not identifying Foolio's killers, it is an open secret in Jacksonville. Everyone knows who is behind the hit, and just 1 day after the murder, they released a music video snitching on themselves. Foolio's main op, Yungeen Ace, released a music video for the track Do It, where he raps, "I don't even call him by his name. I call them Lil Do It's, let's do it. Just call his phone, say they got the low. I told them do it." Yungeen Ace's self-snitch has put a target on his back, and he has cause to fear because back in 2018, Foolio's affiliate scared him for life in an incident that shocked Jacksonville. Just 3 days before the deadly shooting, Ace took to social media to post this photo with an ominous caption. Little did he know that only a few days later, he would be fighting for his life while his closest friends and brother would lose theirs. On June 5th, 2018, Ace's younger brother, Trevon Bullard, was set to celebrate his birthday. Alongside them were close friends Royale Devon Smith Jr. and Jacoby Deshad Groover, both of whom shared their enthusiasm for the night ahead. The group chose a local favorite spot for the birthday dinner, a place where laughter and music filled the air, and the worries of the outside world seemed to melt away. As the evening progressed, the tight-knit group enjoyed the camaraderie and the celebration of life. Little did they know that the night would take an unimaginable turn. After the dinner, the four young men left the venue, their spirits high and their hearts full of the evening's festivities. They settled into their Chevrolet, ready to continue their night elsewhere. But as they pulled away, the unexpected horror unfolded in mere moments. A car, nondescript and seemingly out of nowhere, approached their vehicle. Without warning or provocation, the night air was pierced by the sound of gunfire. The Chevrolet, once a vessel of celebration, became a target as it was showered with bullets in a relentless attack. Yungeen Ace, amidst the chaos, made a split-second decision fueled by instinct and brotherly love. He leaned over in a desperate attempt to shield his friend in the driver's seat, risking his own life in the process. Tragically, his efforts were in vain, and the driver, along with two other passengers, succumbed to their injuries. The hospital became Ace's new battleground, where he fought not just for recovery, but for dignity. In a shocking turn of events, he was expelled from the medical facility, his lack of insurance deemed more significant than his critical injuries. Meanwhile, Ace's legal troubles compounded when it was discovered that earlier on the day of the shooting, the group had visited a gun shop on University Boulevard. Video evidence from the store led to Ace being charged with a probation violation for firearm involvement. Facing the aftermath of the shooting and the legal repercussions of his actions, Ace surrendered to authorities. He was charged with violating his probation from a 2017 accessory conviction related to an attempted robbery. His probation terms explicitly prohibited him from firearm possession, and the video of Bullard handling a gun was sufficient for the judge to deny bail. Adding to his torment, Ace was also denied the opportunity to attend his brother's funeral, a heart-wrenching denial of closure. And if you are wondering why these gangs continue to murder each other in cold blood, one needs to look at the origins of KTA and ATK and how the beef between these two gangs started. Beef in Jacksonville. Before the streets of Jacksonville echoed with the notoriety of the ATK gang, there was the Ying gang. It was within this environment that a young rapper, Yungeen Ace, began to make a name for himself, not just with his music, but as a figure of emerging influence in the gang landscape. With a microphone in one hand and the reins of leadership in the other, Ace's ascent in the rap industry paralleled his climb within the gang hierarchy. His lyrics, a raw reflection of life on the streets, became anthems that resonated with the youth, earning him not just fans, but also loyalty among the ranks. As Yungeen Ace's influence grew, his interactions with the gangs on the east side of Jacksonville intensified. It was a time of strategic alliances and shrewd negotiation. Ace, with his charisma and street credibility, bridged the divide between the west and east, weaving a network of loyalty and control that spanned the entire city. The ATK gang, which stands for Ace Top Killers, became a force that commanded attention and respect. As the ATK gang solidified its grip on Jacksonville, a rival entity was rising in the shadows. The KTA gang, an acronym that sent shivers down the spine of the city with its chilling implication, Kill Them All, was on the rise. The genesis of KTA was rooted in the remnants of the notorious PCE gang, which had once sown chaos across the city. The PCE had been crippled by the law, with its top 10 members falling into the hands of justice, charged with murder and firearm offenses. This left a void that was quickly filled by those who remained, hungry for leadership and direction. Enter Charles Jones, or as the streets knew him, Foolio. His life was a chronicle of the violence that plagued the city, having witnessed the loss of numerous friends to the endless cycle of gun violence. These experiences didn't just shape Foolio, they hardened him, creating a leader both feared and respected. With the remnants of PCE rallying behind him, Foolio orchestrated a takeover of the North and South territories. The primary reason for the ATK versus KTA feud was likely an instance of disrespect between the two gangs dating back years. The incident occurred during a rap concert in November 2015, where members from both gangs were present. Despite the tension between the groups, they attempted to form a truce by shaking hands. However, one member refused, leading to a fistfight and ultimately a series of retaliatory shootings. And that's when the first publicized murder took place, the murder of Zion Brown. Zion Brown was active in the streets and was rapper Foolio's blood cousin. Their ops decided to take things too far and attacked Brown's home. It was around 1:30 in the morning when the family's backsliding door was broken by a brick. Inside the house, Brown's 16-year-old sister was jolted awake by the noise. She did what any frightened person would do in such dire circumstances. consequences. She called 911, desperate for help. But before the reassuring presence of law enforcement could arrive, the situation escalated. A figure emerged from the darkness, stepping through the remnants of the glass door. The gunman, with calculated coldness, made his way into the kitchen and then into the living room. The space, which had been filled with the soft breathing of sleeping children, was now a stage for a horrific act. The teenage girl, along with her 9-year-old cousin and her brother Zion Brown, gathered in the living room, their hearts pounding with fear. The gunman looked upon the innocent faces of the children and felt no remorse. His finger tightened around the trigger and a series of shots rang out. The 16-year-old girl tried to take cover behind a couch, but the bullets found her, striking both of her legs. Her young cousin was hit in the neck and right arm, the pain unimaginable for someone so young, and Zion Brown was fatally wounded. As the gunman's weapon clicked empty, he turned and walked out the same way he came in, leaving behind a scene of devastation. Detectives were determined to piece together the events that led to the senseless violence and to bring the perpetrator to justice. The investigation took a significant turn when the wounded 16-year-old girl provided a crucial piece of information. She knew the shooter, not just a face in the crowd, but someone she recognized as a Facebook friend and the boyfriend of one of her friends. This revelation steered the detectives in a new direction, and the name DeAndre Thomas emerged as the prime suspect, a man with close ties to Foolio's main op, Yungeen Ace. DeAndre Thomas, a 19-year-old student from Orange Park High School, was no stranger to the law. His past was filled with a series of arrests in Clay County, including drug possession and a string of burglaries, one of which involved the theft of a firearm. In fact, DeAndre and Yungeen Ace were both implicated in that robbery 7 months before Brown's murder, where the two conspired to rob someone who was reportedly selling weed. Shots were fired into that home, nearly missing a couple and a 1-year-old child. After his arrest, Ace pleaded no contest. This connection between Zion Brown's killer and Yungeen Ace intensified the rivalry and took it to new heights. The police, armed with this information, launched a manhunt for Thomas. Then, the next evening, around 8:30, near Butler Boulevard and Belfort Road, the search came to an end. DeAndre Thomas was arrested. He was charged with 1 count of murder for the death of Zion Brown and 2 counts of attempted murder for the injuries inflicted upon the 2 girls. Zion Brown's murder soon led to Yungeen Ace trying to kill his main op, Foolio, not once, not twice, but 3 times before he was eventually successful on his 4th try. The most recent attempt on Foolio's life came a few months before his death. On October 6, 2023, Foolio found himself in a shootout that almost claimed his life. On that fateful night in his hometown of Jacksonville, Foolio was driving his black Dodge Challenger, which he was later killed in this year. As Foolio drove through the 3100 block on 18th Street W, a residential neighborhood less than a mile away from the Paxson School for Advanced Studies, the peace of the night was shattered by the sound of gunfire. According to various law enforcement sources, suspects opened fire on Foolio's vehicle, riddling it with bullet holes. The attack was swift and brutal, leaving Foolio with a gunshot wound to his foot and was quickly transported to UF Health Jacksonville for treatment. The next day, an Instagram story post appeared, seemingly from one of his parents. The message read, "Keep Foolio my son in y'all prayers. He was shot last night in his hating city." 2 years earlier, he was in a similar situation. On November 8th, 2021, Foolio was at a house on Ernest Street, recording music with several others. The house, which had already been the subject of numerous complaints from neighbors about suspicious activity, became the center of a violent confrontation. Julio Foolio told police he heard gunshots when he walked outside and the shooters were in a dark-colored truck or SUV. Foolio, armed with 2 guns, returned fire in what he claims was self-defense.
I shot back in self-defense. Y'all dumb. I shot back in self-defense. You don't think if I did something illegal, I would be in jail? The police put me in the back of the car.
Foolio was grazed by a bullet, but refused to go to the hospital. Instead, he was seen being escorted to a car, limping from his injury. And in 2020, he was involved in yet another shooting, which saw him go to the hospital, where he recorded a video dissing his ops.
They shot me, but they didn't kill me. I'm Kendrick. Just stupid.
All these shootings have infuriated Foolio's affiliates, and soon, Yungeen Ace may suffer the same fate as Foolio. But in the past, both Foolio and Ace have lost affiliates in the most brutal and inhumane nature. From the infamous case of Corbin Johnson, who was kidnapped, killed, and his body thrown in the woods, to Bibby's murder, which has become famous in diss tracks. Here are some of the worst murders from the 2 gangs. Tit for tat. 16-year-old Adrian Gaynor Jr., alias Bibby, a student at Grand Park High School, met a distressing fate in an incident that left the city grappling with questions and a family in profound grief. The sudden and violent loss of this young life, cut short in the parking lot of his friend's residence, sparked an outcry for justice. The death hurt Foolio so much that he released a song in his honor. On February 25th, 2019, at the Hilltop Village Apartments parking lot on West 45th Street, Bibby was found lifeless, the victim of multiple gunshot wounds. The area around the the gazebo where he had been spending time was littered with dozens of shell casings from a rifle, tracing the path of his desperate attempt to escape his assailant. Witnesses reported the teenager being chased down. They saw Bibby fall and was struck by bullets as he tried to shield his head with his hands in a futile effort to protect himself. According to the arrest warrant, it was Hakeem Robinson, alias K-So, an ATK affiliate who, in a cold-blooded act, approached Bibby and shot him at close range in the back of the head, even as the young teen continued to try to defend himself. The arrest warrant also revealed that K-So had taken to social media after Bibby's death, posting several photos and videos where he appeared to be bragging about Bibby's murder. This brazen display of disregard for human life added another layer of horror to the case and further inflamed the community's grief and anger. And it seems K-So and his gang did more than brag about their hit on Bibby. As it turns out, they went as far as to disrespect his grave and dissed his relatives every chance they got.
They tore up his grave, they spit on his grave, they urinated on his grave, they made fun of our rallies or whatever, they made fun of us marching, they mocked us every chance that they got.
A few months later, Foolio hit back. On July 11, 2019, the vibrant 18-year-old Corbin Odell Johnson FaceTimed his friends at 4 in the afternoon. Little did they know, this would be the last time they would see Corbin alive. Corbin had told his friends he was at Amazon for a job interview and was awaiting a ride. His father, Corey Mormon, recounted dropping his son off for another job interview with UPS at 5 in the afternoon, only to pick him up 45 minutes later. He later drove Corbin to his mother's residence on Biscayne Bay Circle at 8 in the evening. His mother, Melissa Mormon Jackson, would later report that the last time she saw her son was at 9:30 that night. The clock ticked on, and the following morning at 8:45, Corey sent a text message to his son, which would go unanswered, setting off alarm bells in his father's heart. By 6:30 in the evening on July 13th, the family's concern had escalated to action, and they officially reported Corbin missing. The Jacksonville Sheriff's Office began their investigation but never made any progress. Days turned into weeks into months, and months into a year of agonizing uncertainty. As the first anniversary of Corbin's disappearance approached, the family planned a memorial at Riverside's Memorial Park, but fate had written a different ending to Corbin's story. On the evening of July 11th, 2019, a man clearing land off Utsi Road made a shocking discovery. Corbin's skeleton was found, wrapped and buried, bringing a tragic end to the search. KTA's head honcho, Foolio, was all up on Instagram making fun of Corbin after the discovery was made.
That Corbin, they let Corbin get kidnapped, man. That crazy, man. The Corbin. Got this stupid kid now. They found that bones. Getting kidnapped like a little baby. Like a little boy.
This isn't the first shocking Foolio-associated murder that has made headlines. This next one was something straight out of a Hollywood script, from getting caught on camera jumping fences to taking someone hostage. This was the murder of rapper Charles Quentin McCormick, known to fans as Lil Buck. He became another casualty in a string of brutal shootings and was killed in what would become a drama-filled incident. On a day that dawned like any other in Jacksonville, Florida, the usual hum of activity at Dames Point Plaza was about to be disrupted by an event that would send shockwaves through the community. It was late Wednesday morning when the sounds of gunfire pierced the air, a brutal reminder that violence can strike anywhere, anytime. Lil Buck, a 23-year-old man, was in the parking lot of the plaza. He was an up-and-coming artist in the local rap community. At approximately 11 in the morning, the tranquility of the day was shattered. Off-duty officer present at the scene witnessed a drive-by shooting that would claim the rapper's life. The assailants, with cold precision, gunned down the young rapper in broad daylight. The officer, trained for moments like these, sprang into action, giving chase as the perpetrator's vehicle sped away from the plaza. The chase was intense, the streets of Jacksonville becoming the backdrop for a pursuit that felt ripped from the pages of a crime thriller. The suspect's car, unable to evade the relentless pursuit, crashed nearby. Two men emerged from the wreckage, their determination to escape leading them to commit a home invasion just a few blocks away. In a desperate attempt to evade capture, the men broke into a stranger's home, held the homeowner hostage, and changed clothes, a terrifying ordeal for any resident to endure. They were even caught on camera jumping over fences and running through people's yards as they made their escape. Their escape plan involved a getaway in a red or orange Dodge Charger or Challenger, a vehicle that would later become a key piece of evidence in the unfolding investigation. As the dust settled on the tragic scene at Dames Point Plaza, the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office launched a full-scale investigation into the cold-blooded murder of Lil Buck. The city, no stranger to the scourge of violence, braced itself for the revelations that this case would unearth. The investigation was meticulous, with detectives combing through every lead, every piece of evidence that could shed light on the perpetrators of this heinous crime. The break breakthrough came when K-So was identified as a suspect. His name was not unknown to law enforcement since he was entangled in a web of gang affiliations that had long cast a shadow over Jacksonville's streets. Tracked down to Atlanta by the Fulton County Sheriff's Office, he was apprehended and faced extradition back to Jacksonville, where he would join 6 others awaiting trial for their involvement in the attack. From the history of ATK and KTA, we can be sure that revenge is inevitable. Question is, will Yungeen Ace be ready, or will he be caught slipping? Only time will tell. If you enjoyed this video, click on the boxes playing on your screen to watch similar content.